Energy ministers from the European Union have convened for an emergency meeting in Brussels to discuss a range of proposed measures as prices skyrocket ahead of the looming winter season. Among the list of proposals tabled by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen are a windfall levy on non-gas power plants, a block-wide cut in electricity demand, and perhaps most controversially, a price cap on Russian gas. Now, that idea has so far drawn mixed support from the bloc's 27 member nations, many of whom fear losing even more energy supplies. As it stands, Russian gas deliveries to Europe have fallen by nearly 90% over the past year. President Vladimir Putin has threatened a complete shutdown of all gas deliveries to the region if the bloc proceeds to impose the price cap.
Yeah, Jill, and as many as 10 EU members are reportedly against this price cap. They say it puts at risk the dwindling supply they still receive from Moscow. While enforcing a price cap on Russian gas would require unanimous approval from all 27 states in the EU, the lack of consensus means that the proposal is likely to be discussed only briefly at the meeting. Now, Italy, Poland and Greece are against applying a cap solely on Russian gas imports. Brussels also facing pressure from at least 10 EU countries to push for a general price cap on gas. A general price limit only needs a qualified majority, 15 out of 27 members. Those in this camp suggest setting the cap above current prices in Asia and the US. Hungary, Austria and the Netherlands oppose any kind of cap, however. Well, the G7 countries are also working to decide the range of a price cap on Russian oil. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK and the US agreed last week to impose a lid on Russian oil prices. It calls on participating countries to deny insurance, finance, brokering and other services to oil cargoes priced above a yet-to-be-set limit on crude and two oil products. Well, for more, Rosie Bircher joins us live from Brussels. Rosie, time is of the essence with winter approaching. Are the ministers expected to make a final decision on the price cap soon? And how effective will that be in cutting energy prices in the EU?
Well, the final decision will certainly not be taken in the next few hours. This is an orientation, a discussion for ministers to put their ideas across, and based on that, the European Commission, which is the bloc's executive, will come forward with more formal proposals. We expect that to take place next week. But as you rightly pointed out, this suggestion for a price cap is among the most contentious proposals on ministers' table as they head into these emergency talks, taking place, of course, against a backdrop of a truly deepening energy crisis across this bloc. Now, there are two goals here. First of all, to try and ease these soaring energy prices, which are placing such a strain on businesses and households across the EU, and of course fears that that will only get worse as the winter approaches. But there's a second goal here as well, which is also to try and cripple the Kremlin's ability to keep financing its war in Ukraine by limiting the amount of money funneled into the Kremlin's coffers, which are funded in many ways by fossil fuels. And one of the countries which is most outspoken in favour of tougher sanctions on Russia is Estonia. Take a listen to what Estonia's energy minister had to say on her way into these talks.
Estonia supports price cap on Russian energy as low as possible, and we support sanctioning Russian energy sources as well. If anyone had any doubt what's the situation is, that Russia has said, if you want our gas, take down the sanctions. It is blackmail. It's war that is waged outside of Ukraine. We cannot back down. We have to be united. We have to have the political will to help Ukraine win.
But that view is not shared across the entire European Union. For example, Hungary has in the past few weeks sought to sign a new deal with Russian energy giant Gazprom for gas deliveries. So likely no swift approval of that particular price cap mechanism. However, some other options are on ministers' tables. For example, a revenue cap on those excess profits from energy firms which are selling their energy now at prices which are far above the cost of production. And also looking into a mandatory target for cutting electricity use. Because, of course, there is another fundamental problem here being worsened by the fallout of Russia's war in Ukraine, which is that there is a global mismatch between the supply and the demand of energy.
Rosie, clear divisions remain within the bloc. Is the EU prepared to find other alternatives if Russia follows through with its threat to completely turn off the gas taps?
The European Union certainly is more prepared today than it was at the start of this year. Now, last year, the EU relied on Moscow for about 40% of its natural gas imports. That is now down to 9%, and that's because Brussels has been going out into the world trying to find alternative sources. So, for example, it has been sourcing gas from Norway, from the United States, also from Qatar. They've looked into new deals, for example, with Israel, with Egypt. So they have managed to replace some of those supplies. But with that 9% there, that 9% remaining, so too remains the risk of shortages as the winter approaches. And almost to sort of warn these ministers, the temperatures have dropped in Brussels today. It's a rather autumnal feeling as ministers mull what is a deepening crisis and try to find some measures quickly. Ireland's Energy Minister, Eamon Ryan, did warn that it should be known by consumers, by households, that governments will not be able to cushion the full blow, but they will try to cushion it at least to some extent, trying to get some rapid approval on these measures to try and tame this crisis.
Rosie, thanks for that. Rosie Birchall reporting live from Brussels.